So many people move through life, wondering why their deepest desires seem just out of reach. Yet few ever pause to notice the invisible chains they carry within. Imagine standing at the doorway of your destiny, feeling the pull of something greater, a life that whispers your name with promise. But every time you take a step forward, something inside tugs you back. That tug is not fate denying you. It is not the world working against you. It is your own collection of old habits, doubts, and inner narratives that were formed long before you ever realized you had the power to rewrite them. In the words and spirit of Florence Scovel Shinn, life responds not to fear, but to the strong, unwavering vibration of faith. Yet most people unknowingly practice the opposite. They repeat the same limiting patterns, entertain the same doubtful thoughts, and expect life to change without changing themselves. Old habits are like shadows that cling to you even when the light is bright. They tell you to stay where it feels familiar, even if the familiar is uncomfortable, small, or painful. They convince you that the unknown is dangerous, that growth is risky, and that your dreams are unrealistic. These habits are built through repetition, and repetition becomes belief, and belief becomes the silent script that directs your every step. Doubt stands even closer, whispering questions that weaken your courage. What if you fail? What if you're not enough? What if you lose what you already have? Doubt never speaks truth, it only echoes fear. But fear, when given authority, can make a person abandon the very path that was meant for them. Your destiny is not a distant reward reserved for the fortunate. It is the natural expression of your highest self, waiting for you to align with it. The moment you grasp this truth, something begins to shift inside. You start seeing how every thought plants a seed, how every belief becomes a doorway or a barrier, and how every action either moves you closer or farther from your divine purpose. In the quiet moments of reflection, you may sense that your life could transform rapidly if you simply release the mental patterns that no longer serve you. Yet letting go often feels harder than holding on. This is where most people silently struggle, caught between the life they know and the life they desire. For transformation to begin, you must first recognize that your inner world shapes your outer world. The habits, assumptions, and doubts you carry today are either building the foundation of your destiny or delaying it. You are not powerless, you are simply conditioned. But conditioning can be rewritten the moment you choose a new thought, a new belief, and a new expectation for your life. As you begin to observe the patterns within yourself, you may notice how doubt and old habits often disguise themselves as practicality, caution, or even wisdom, when in truth they are simply remnants of a mindset formed during moments of fear or limitation. These remnants act like invisible boundaries, silently shaping your choices and convincing you that your destiny is something to be earned through struggle rather than something to be claimed through alignment. In the style of Florence Scovel Shinn, it becomes clear that life is a mirror, returning to you the exact image of your inner assumptions. And if those assumptions are clouded by old beliefs, the reflection becomes distorted. You may strive for progress, but internally you continue rehearsing narratives of unworthiness or defeat that were never yours to accept in the first place. The suspense of transformation lies in the moment you realize that no external situation is truly the obstacle. The real barrier is the voice within that insists you are the same person you were yesterday. Change begins when you challenge that voice, when you declare that your past habits no longer dictate your future possibilities. Yet this is precisely where many people hesitate, because stepping into your destiny requires walking through a space where the old cannot follow. It demands the release of identities built from past disappointments, heartbreaks, failures, and fears. And this release often feels like walking through a fog, unsure of what lies ahead, aware only that something must shift. In this fog, doubt becomes louder, attempting to lure you back into the comfort of repetition. It will remind you of every past mistake, every time you felt small, every moment you feared judgment or loss. But this is the exact turning point Florence Shinn often described, where the appearance of difficulty is actually the gateway to demonstration. The universe waits for you to decide whether you will bow to fear or rise with faith. The suspense within this choice is powerful, for it determines not just the next step, but the direction of your entire path. When you choose faith, even in trembling, the fog begins to clear. You start seeing signs, gentle confirmations that your courage is being multiplied and your intention is being honored. But faith requires consistency, and consistency builds new habits that align with your destiny. With each small act of courage, each moment of mental discipline, each refusal to entertain doubt, you rewrite the script of your life. Your words become declarations, your thoughts become seeds of abundance, and your actions begin drawing opportunities that once seemed impossible. In this unfolding, you discover that destiny was never far away. It was simply waiting for you to stop repeating old cycles long enough to hear its call. And the moment you answer, the entire direction of your life shifts toward higher purpose, deeper peace, and undeniable clarity. When you finally step into the awareness that your destiny responds to the strength of your inner alignment, you begin to realize that life has always been preparing the way for you. Even in moments that felt like setbacks or unanswered questions, the very challenges that once made you doubt yourself become evidence of your resilience. And the very delays that once frustrated you reveal themselves as protection, guiding you away from paths not meant for your spirit. As you release the old habits that kept you tied to cycles of fear or hesitation, you make room for new patterns shaped by clarity, confidence, and spiritual authority. Florence Scovel Shinn often taught that every person has a divine design, a blueprint for perfect self-expression. And when you align with this design, obstacles dissolve not by force, but by the natural unfolding of right action. Your destiny unfolds the moment you stop arguing for your limitations and begin affirming your potential. Even though the process may not always feel easy, you start noticing how life responds differently when you affirm your freedom instead of your fear. Doors open that were once closed, ideas flow more naturally, and your intuition becomes sharper, as though a higher wisdom is guiding you step by step. In the past, doubt may have convinced you to shrink, to silence your dreams, or to settle for less, but now you understand that doubt has no authority unless you grant it power. Old habits may still attempt to resurface, trying to pull you into familiar patterns, but each time you choose a higher thought, you weaken their grip. You begin to sense a subtle but profound shift in your energy, as if the universe recognizes your renewed strength and aligns circumstances in your favor. This alignment is not luck. It is the reflection of your internal transformation. When you cultivate new mental habits built on faith, gratitude, and expectancy, you become a magnet for experiences that mirror your elevated state. You start recognizing opportunities that were always around you, but hidden behind the fog of old thinking. Life feels less like a struggle and more like a collaboration between your intention and divine timing. As this understanding deepens, you start living from a place of trust rather than tension, allowing your destiny to unfold with grace instead of force. You no longer chase outcomes, you attract them. You no longer seek approval, you honor your truth. You no longer fear the unknown, you embrace it as the space where miracles take form. And in this new way of being, you finally understand why old habits and doubt kept you away from your destiny. They were incompatible with the person you were becoming. Now, standing in your renewed awareness, you feel the power of your divine path calling you forward with clarity, purpose, and certainty. This is the moment where your life begins to reflect the fullness of who you truly are, and everything ahead becomes a testament to your courage to transform.